Hello comrades, my name is Fritz and welcome back to Kerbal's space program, New Horizons. Today it's Operation Jeb Rescue. For a while now, Jeb has been stranded in a fairly high and eccentric Kerbin orbit, so since he's been out there for about 6 years, he probably really wants to come home because he might actually be rather hungry. So today we're going to do just that. We are going to bring Jebediah home. Now, the eagle-eyed of you may have noticed that this spacecraft here is the Minmus base I dropped on the surface a couple of episodes ago, back in February. Actually, so yeah, I've been away for quite a while, sorry about that. I mentioned that in the previous episode as well, in case you were wondering. Many reasons attached to that. So yeah, we're going to bring this home, and one issue that I didn't foresee, or that I forgot to notice, is that this spacecraft doesn't have parachutes. So I sent up this moon spacecraft, this refueler kind of rig. I flew the Minmus spacecraft into orbit around the moon, and then docked this kind of little Jeb probe system drogue with its own little RCS system, and docked it into the Minmus spacecraft, so we now have parachutes attached. I've transferred the pilot from the Landican into the Minmus spacecraft, and we can bring this whole lot back home. I think it would be useful to have a refueler in orbit around the moon. Now, since we don't have any controls on the moon refueler, I'm going to point the whole spacecraft in a north-south orientation, and as we get things a little bit noodly going on here between the kind of fluid coupling almost. Running on magnets are those docking ports, as they have been since the introduction of docking in this game. So not in kind of a fully mechanical system, and Dropbox is full apparently. And we passed that up completely. I am getting distracted today. Not a fully mechanical system with lots of locks and latches, no, just plain old magnets and an airlock, I hope. Although the Kerbals do seem to stay in their spacesuits for the entire time, so maybe an airlock isn't entirely necessary. It would be comforting though, but nonetheless, that is our spaceship setup. Now we should have enough fuel to... oh no, well that's clearly not the case, is it? So yeah, we're gonna... luckily we do have quite a lot of fuel in these outer tanks here, so I'm going to transfer them across kind of in a, like, look for the opposites, and then just so the centre of mass stays roughly balanced. Right, that's done. 171 hopefully in each tank. Yep, that's nicely done. Okay, we do still have a couple of tanks plus the central tank on that moon refueler, so yeah, that should be dandy indeed. We've got both Kerbals in the Minmus mission, so let's go ahead and undock from here, not from there, because that would cause problems. Okay, let's give me control of that one. Let's slowly inch forward away from the moon rocket. Very nice indeed. Okay, yeah. And we can plot an escape burn away from the moon. That should be dandy. Yeah, I want to make sure that if we set Jeb as our target here, Comsat 3 ship here, that's him, set as target, that we have a relatively good kind of intercept. We are on a bit of an angle here, so I might consider shifting that up, although it might not be necessary, so let's plot the maneuver and see where that gets us. Actually, you know something? Look at that, 130 kilometers. That, I imagine, is as good as we're going to get. From that distance, at least. Yeah, that is not bad at all. It hasn't calculated our manoeuvre node yet, so we're going to have to wait until we actually need to start burning. We're going to bid goodbye to our faithful moon station. 174 should be about 20 seconds beforehand. So we're going to go time warp and see where that gets us. Firing up all 4 engines here, all 4 LV909s, and manoeuvre node ticking down nicely, 13 seconds. We're going to point towards our manoeuvre node, just to make sure everything is perfectly alright. Now, it's unlikely that we're going to get an exact amount of intercept, so precisely 132 kilometers, but hopefully we should have been close enough. There is moon escape, the camera switching modes. 19 meters per second. How accurately can we plot this? 2.5 and 0.6. Okay, not bad at all. Let's quick save here. And the spacecraft is spinning out of control. SAS getting very confused there. 300 kilometers. Yeah, that's not too great, but yeah. We can work with that. That's certainly something we can work with in the meantime. It's only 1 intercept, so we actually got pretty close from this distance, so that isn't too shabby as we head into position. Now we can probably fine-tune it from here, and then once we get in close, kind of eyeball it. Jeb spacecraft is looking like it's just one little capsule. 69.1 kilometers. 70. Okay, 70 is good. I don't want to fiddle around with that too much. We've got a pretty good... Let's not get too greedy here. Let's take what we can get and then close in as we approach Jeb. We are still coming in pretty hot from the moon, so it's 5 hours till I burn, and yeah, let's see how this goes. Hey look, it's Jeb. Look, 86.4 kilometers. We're coming up quite hot on our intercept. Yeah, that's cool. We do need to match planes at some point, although that might be taken care of as we head in for our kind of retrograde burn. So if we set the nav ball into target mode here, 400 meters per second to kill. Yeah, this could be interesting. Let's see what happens. Jeb should have quite a bit of XP now, so... Although I do believe he had a bit of XP since he was the first Kerbin that we sent out on those kind of sounding rockets. Some of the earlier test flights that we did. So yeah, that should be pretty dandy here. I'm gonna have to actually start burning retrograde in a moment. Yep, there we go. Let's kick it up a notch. Hit the retrograde pretty hard now. Plenty of fuel to play with. Parachutes on board, that's very good. The LV909's working overtime, trying to kill off our excess velocity. Yeah, matching planes might not be necessary at this point, although, yeah, circularizing is happening. Actually, it's coming down. You can see it's coming down quite nicely. The descending nodes, yep. Okay, this is dandy. This is dandy indeed. Working out quite well for us. We don't need to waste Delta V on 2 separate maneuvers. We go straight in and actually just match planes whilst also slowing down relative to Jeb here. Now, yeah, this is looking good. 200 meters per second relative to our target. Jeb should be slowing down relative to us in just a moment. Hang in there, buddy. We're coming for you. Jeb is really quite close now. The difficulty we currently have is that Jeb isn't on a perfectly circular orbit, and you can see he's actually moving away from us right now, so... Yeah, 47, and what's our intercept here? 47. Okay, we may as well just start burning towards him right now. And the fact that he isn't on an eccentric... well, he's on a very eccentric orbit is that him moving away from us relative to our current orbit means that we don't have to use as much fuel to kill our relative velocity, because he's moving away, which is quite useful. 60 meters per second. Coming in nice and close now. Jeb is but 10 kilometers away. You're gonna once again turn target retrograde, kill off our relative velocity, just so he doesn't slip away into the cold, dark abyss of space and we lose him forever. We might be on the verge of losing these guys forever, actually, because we are really churning and burning through this fuel at the moment. I'm not convinced we can get all the way back home. Luckily, there's no real precise manoeuvres we need to make with the engines once we get up close. We can just tend to EV8 Jeb away out of his spacecraft, and 1.2 kilometers is the separation. Looking good. Jeb is well on his way home if we don't have to use too much fuel. This is actually kind of perfect EVA distance. We won't be able to see him just yet because his spacecraft is so small. It's just the tiny Mach 1 command pod. 2.5 kilometers, you might be able to see it glistening, although we are on the dark side, so maybe that's a little unlikely. Look at that. That is about as good as we're going to get, I think. And yeah, Jeb is... We did actually rather optimistically, I can just about see, I think, fit a parachute to the side of it. Fat lot of good that turned out to be in the end. Oh wow, we fitted 2 parachutes. We really were expecting it. Oh my god, okay, we're gonna actually glance into it. Jebediah Kerbin, 14 years in space. This guy must have, like, zen-like levels of boredom busting going on. Yeah. And, oh, yeah, we've actually clouted his old space capsule. That's gone to plan, hasn't it? Don't hit the solar panel, Jeb, you maniac! And so bid goodbye to his stricken spacecraft here. Oh no, bloody hell. Come on, Jeb. It's a bit stiff from 14 years in a space pod. Wouldn't be surprised. And... bored. No, we don't. No, we don't. There we go. Jeb! We got Jeb! We got Jeb back. Excellent. Gorgeous views here as we streak in from the heavens with our Minmus spacecraft. Looking like it's going to be a fortuitous re-entry, hopefully. Fingers crossed, at least. And I'll see you when we are beginning to scorch through Kerbin's upper atmosphere. 10 kilometers, well 8 kilometers now, and falling fast over these vast, expansive Kerbin plains. We are coming in like a flaming lawn dart, like Tessio Shear diving into a vat of custard as we hurtle down towards the ground. Thinking about popping the chutes. I should probably do that. Chutes! Wahey! Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna land fairly upside down. This is mad. This is utterly mad. And very close to the ground now. I can't do anything about thrusting. Thrusting? Kind of arresting our descent with our thrusters. Because of course they're facing the wrong way. SAS on, and brace for impact, chaps. Hold on to your lunch. Smack. Smack, okay. Well, and like a glove, almost. Wow, okay. Yep. We bounced pretty much fully elastically. And the dish survived, yeah, we bounced quite nicely off on that satellite dish. Wow, that's... I think I would have landed upright if I hadn't had the legs out. Anyway, yes, that concludes this little episode, this jaunt from the moon, from Minmus to the moon and back to Kerbin with one spaceship. In the meantime, I've got a bit of a dual excursion planned for the next few episodes, so stay tuned for that in Season 2 of New Horizons. In the meantime, my name is Fritz, and I will of course see you next time.